What's up, guys? Hey, I'm back with your 450s from SMX. Jett crushed Hunter's dreams. I'm going to talk about that. Sexton had a bad night, but I think it might be a good thing for him and KTM. They need to get on the same page. And some great news. One of my favorite riders and a talent in Max Vohland has a home for the next 2 years. So there is a chance that I lose this platform. I'm currently fighting to save it, but there is a small chance that they could have this platform removed. If that happens, head over, and well, actually, if you could just head over ahead of time, I'm gonna put some different content over on Mike Grondal's page. It's Make Motocross Great. It's at Make Motocross Great. I'll put a link in the description. If you wanna go over there and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. That way they can't deplatform me. And also, I'm posting everything on a Rumble page. That's the one thing that they're really trying to silence me. So if I have multiple different options, they can't silence me. And Mike has got a really good cause with this Make Motocross Great Again. There's a petition. If you want to sign that, it would really help a lot. He's got some really good ideas, and I'll talk about those over on his page. But yeah, definitely get over there and sign that petition. And Nano-Xtreme is my new title sponsor. They have this pain cream that works really good. And I know a lot of you guys have the same aches and pains as I do. Anyone who's raced dirt bikes understands arthritis, and these things are very, very real, and we don't want to take pain pills. So Mike Grondal got with a guy who's really good, and they created Nano-Xtreme. I was skeptical at first, but I have used this, and my shoulder hasn't felt better in years. Use code Cooksey at checkout for a buy one, get one free. Thank you to all the members. You guys are all entered to win the custom painted CRS helmet from Coach Rob Beams. And if you want to get on his amateur development team, please reach out to him. Get your resumes in by the 27th. He'll start going over those and picking his team after the 27th. So thanks, guys, and let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
Seeing what the Lawrence brothers did last weekend was impressive. I was trying to think of siblings who've been so good at a sport at a high level. I can only compare them with the Williams sisters in tennis. I don't know of any other racers who could be the top 1 and 2 in the sport all over. There's probably a couple, and I'm sure somebody will put them in the comments, but that's the only ones I could think of. They are like the Williams sisters of motocross, and their dad is right there interacting, much like the Williams dad. Jett Lawrence he is a generational talent. He is fun to watch. His ability to manage a race and manage risk and only go when he has to is something I've never seen before. Ricky Carmichael didn't do that. McGrath kind of did it, but what he would do is he didn't manage it. In fact, even when David Villeman caught up to him, he couldn't readjust his speed. What McGrath would do is he would go out there and go really hard for the first little while, create an insurmountable gap, and then cruise. Jett manages like a 3-second. As soon as guys start to charge, he grabs a little bit more. They back off, he backs off. I've never seen anything like it in the sport of motocross. And what makes Jett also incredibly exceptional is he's got this raw talent like a Jason Lawrence, Ron Lachine, Josh Hansen. He's got those bike skills and that incredible talent that we always talk about. But then you got guys like Jeff Ward, Jeff Stanton, who had this incredible work ethic. The Lawrence brothers, in particular, Jett has both. And that's a scary combination. If a guy has that much talent, it's hard to outwork him if he works as hard as you do. And that's what we're seeing with Jett Lawrence. Man, he has had as good of a start to a career as I think we've ever seen. I don't know that anybody's ever started better. And it's in an era when guys are tighter, the field is tighter, it's more competitive. And that will always change. It always gets more and more competitive. But man, you look at lap times now compared to 10, 15, 20 years ago, the field is tighter. To see this kind of dominance in a tight field on 4 strokes, it is impressive. With that said, we always look back fondly on greatness. We look back on McGrath and the 72 wins. We look back at Carmichael and his 2 undefeated seasons. 3 if you talk overalls, not just motos. But it was a little bit boring. A lot of us were like, oh, we don't want to know the result of the race before it happens. And while we enjoy greatness from, when we look back on it, it's hard to enjoy in the moment because we really do want that excitement of not knowing who's going to win. Man, I hate to say it, but I think Jett's giving us a little bit of that. When Jett was leading that last moto, I'm sorry. I was like, nobody's going to catch him. It's over. It's really boring unless he gets a bad start. But that's a me problem, not a Jett problem. That's something where I need to learn how to appreciate greatness, but it is hard in the moment. But I'll tell you who it's even harder for, Hunter Lawrence. Hunter Lawrence in any other era would be an exceptional talent. We'd be talking about him. He'd be getting a 450 championship or two, but he happens to be in the same era as his brother. He might be the second best rider in the series. Maybe. That's debatable. I mean, you got Tomac and Sexton, but he's right there with those guys. I mean, he got second at the last race. He won Dallas. And if you don't think this series meant anything to him, look at his face. Look at his body language after that race. He wanted this so badly. That doesn't mean he wants his brother to let him win, but as siblings, you want to beat your brother. I have a brother, and while I'm so happy when he wins races, when we race together, you can bet your ass I wanted to beat him more than anyone else. We rode each other kind of like the Lawrences, and we played very nice with each other on the track. Dang, does it feel good to beat your own brother. It does. It really does. While you're happy for them that they win, and if you don't win, or if you have an issue, you definitely want them to win. But at the same time, to get straight up handled by your little brother, that's kind of hard to take, and I do feel for Hunter on that. The one thing Hunter does have going for him is he learns. He doesn't learn as fast as Jett, but what he has is he has access to Jett. He gets to see Jett's preparation. He gets to see Jett at the practice track, and he's the type of guy that can learn. He might not learn it quite as fast as Jett, but given access to him, he's going to have an advantage on anyone else in that field. And if it only gets him to second place, so be it. But once you're out front, you're the guy setting the pace, doing these weird things that people are trying to catch up to. The more access someone has to them, the closer they can get. And that's what Hunter has going for him. So if he just puts himself in position and consistently stays right there with Jett, eventually there will be a mistake, there will be something, and Hunter will get a championship. But man, he really looked, I looked at his face, and I'm not going to lie, my heart hurt for Hunter Lawrence. I know, he got second place, he's got all that, they claim the whole family. I can't help but feel a little bit bad for Hunter Lawrence after last weekend. But I'll tell you who the real winner is with these two brothers. Team Australia. The Motocross of Nations is coming up in 2 weeks. Those two guys might be the best two riders in the world right now. Like I said, it's debatable, but they might be. And then they've got Kyle Webster, who rode really good when he came over here, kind of a sand expert. I don't think the track over there is sandy. But if Kyle Webster can put together one solid moto, they have a really good chance to win this Nations. I think they might be the favorite. They do need Kyle Webster to step up. He's going to have to ride out of his mind. But if he gets one solid moto in there that they can count, that they don't have to throw away, yeah, they're going to be hard to beat. But I'll do a full Nations video next week. There are a lot of strong teams, and I'll kind of break down those, and I'll tell you what, that Netherlands team looks pretty strong, except for Glenn Coldenhoff. He's riding a Fantic. And I know a lot of you guys complain about my sponsor reads, but these guys are important to me. They have been with me from the beginning. They don't tell me what to say, and that means a lot to me. So I go out of my way to make sure they get a bang for their buck on my show, and they've stayed with me through all the controversies. Epic Garage Designs. Travis Ogburn is an absolute badass. He has the coolest stuff. Check out Epic Garage Designs. Chris from Ride Strapped. He got kicked out of Budds Creek with me. What a cool guy. And we do have free Cooksey shirts. The way you get the free Cooksey shirt is I'll have a link to my GoFundMe page. Any donations over $20, I will reach out to you. You send me your address and your size, and you will be getting a free Cooksey shirt. He's working on a couple different designs, and I think what we're going to do is we'll do like a 2 weeks of this one, 2 weeks of the next one, and we're just going to keep this running for a little while. It's a nice way to help keep me protected while I'm going through all this, and being that there is a chance I could lose this YouTube platform, and that's a nice chunk of change for me. That's what I live off right now. And if you guys are shipping anything, use Precision Transport. That's pretransport.com. This is a shipping company that emphasizes customer service. They are awesome. Hit up pretransport.com. So Chase Sexton, man, Did it not take the entire air out of the stadium when he got hurt? That was such a bummer. We were looking for it. Well, we all know that, Hunter could have beat Jett. The guy who really, really threatened Jett was Chase Sexton. And Chase Sexton isn't a sibling, so we know there could be shenanigans. It really let the air out of the night. But these things happen. I mean, this sport is so dangerous. I mean, what these guys do, the fact that he stayed healthy somewhat for 31 rounds is damn near amazing. That was one tiny mistake. All he did was move over about 8 inches. He goes 8 inches to the left instead of 8 inches to the right. He's all clear, no problem. It's crazy how many times these guys split those sections and nothing happens. They are the best of the best, and it was just unfortunate, but I think it's a good thing in the end. Chase was scheduled to go ride the Spanish GP and then go to the Motocross Nations. That's 2 overseas races after doing the entire American Series. That's a lot. That's a lot for anyone. And adding that extra travel on there and the stress of representing your country, that is tough. You don't get any money for doing that. You get a lot of ridicule if it doesn't go well. And if you win, they go, oh, you're American, you're supposed to win. You're the best riders in the world. That's kind of how we've looked at it. That's not fair because we haven't won very much. And when we do win, it's kind of an upset these days. So that's not fair to say, but that is kind of the way we've looked at it for a long time because we had such a long winning streak. We owned this event for so many years. We just expect to win, even if we don't have a team that we think really can. We just think, oh, we'll win. The fact that Chase gets to rest 2 weeks before then, hopefully this hand won't need any surgery. I heard it was broken. In his post, he said a bone contusion, whatever. Either way, he doesn't have to make the travel. He gets to turn off the stress, and stress is a major factor in fatigue. He gets to relax and just kind of reset. And now there's no pressure to go do off-season races because he can say, oh, my hand is still recovering. So he doesn't have to do any of that. I hope he looked burned out. The way he was talking towards the end, his relationship with KTM has not been going well. They have been at each other's throats to the point where they made him take down an interview, and it's been a rough go. They need to get on the same page. When a team like KTM hires a guy like Chase Sexton, he is hired to win. He is not hired to almost win. He is hired to win races. And like he said, if he doesn't win, everybody says he sucks. But you, as KTM, you don't bring a guy like that in and say, here's our bike, ride it. It's good enough to win. You do what he asks. If he wants this, he wants to test, you do it. That's the way it is. It's a partnership. This is not an employee-employer relationship. They like to think it is. And for some riders, it is, but not when you get a guy at the status of a Chase Sexton. When you get a Chase Sexton, he is your partner. He is not your employee. If he needs something, you give it to him. He wins, you win. It's a partnership. And if they don't partnership with him, he'll go partner somewhere else. Teams will find a budget to bring Chase Sexton on. As an example, remember James Stewart had a partnership with Yamaha. It didn't go well. So what did they do? Tore up the contract with a lot of money left on it, went to Suzuki, and it worked out really well for James for a little bit. And as far as KTM making him take down that interview, that's a really bad look for KTM. Now, we can deal with factory guys complaining about their bikes. We can deal with ill handling, and I don't think that really affects our purchases. What builds consumer confidence is transparency. If they tell us, okay, well, KTM, Chase wants a different feel out of the front end, and we're trying different things because this bike has this characteristic, no problem. That's not going to affect the bottom line of sales. But when you start silencing a rider, taking down interviews, and getting mad about what they're saying, now you lose consumer confidence. Now I believe KTM are lying or they're misrepresenting. That is 100 times worse than having a bike that is ill handling. I hope the other manufacturers understand that. Listen, we can deal with, and riders complain a lot. Sometimes that happens. Every rider has a different style. Different bikes suit different riders. We understand if you have to make a change for one guy, it might not fit for the other guy. That's not going to ruin sales for a machine. They had this problem with riders in the past. There was almost a revolt between Aaron Plessinger and Cooper Webb, and it led to Cooper Webb being let off the team. Plessinger, he's still there. It's hard not to how do you not get along with Aaron Plessinger? So Aaron Plessinger was able to make it work. But this is an issue at KTM, and they need to figure that out this offseason because it's not working. Max Vohland. I know he's been MIA. So Max Vohland is one of the most talented riders that I've ever seen come through the amateur ranks. He was thrust into the pro ranks early by the same team I just talked about, KTM. They threw him to the wolves. Unfortunately, he wasn't ready, and look at what it's done to his career. It has really set him backwards. His confidence is gone, he's had injuries, and he did get a great opportunity. He left KTM because they don't develop talent at KTM. They bring you in and they say, ride the bike, and if you win or do good, you keep your ride. If not, you're fired. They do not cultivate talent there, and that's something they're just not good at. At Pro Circuit, Mitch did a lot better job as far as knowing what he was getting with Max Vohland. Unfortunately, he had that horrible hip injury and lost the entire season, and Mitch's team is full. He's got too many riders over there. So they just didn't have a place for a guy who hasn't raced or done anything. It just didn't justify having him on the team. But where he's going is perfect. I love the Club MX team for developing talent and rebuilding careers. This is Brandon Haas and Mike B. They understand These guys are human beings. You need to rebuild these kids. You need to get their confidence up. They cultivate talent better than almost any team that I've seen. This is the perfect place for Max Vohland. He has a bike that got podiums in the Supercross last year with Garrett Marchbanks. He can absolutely do the same thing, but if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. He's got a 2-year deal. They will be very patient with Max because they know the payoff is big. The potential that he has the potential to go out and win races for Club MX. Do we expect that? No, but they understand if you're patient, you build the confidence. There's a very, very high ceiling with Max Vohland, and that is a great place for him to land. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Remember, head over to Make Motocross Great, the YouTube page. I'm going to do a video here real soon explaining who Mike Grandal is and what he's all about, and I thank him so much for offering this backup platform for me. He's got plenty to say himself, which I'm sure he'll post on there. Good dude, and he really does just want to make motocross great again. So make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe to that channel and also sign the petition. It would mean a lot. And here's your member of the day. Thank you, guys.